There's a liberal activist, documentary filmmaker named Lauren Windsor. You may have heard of her. She did great work. She's like an ethical James O'Keefe, where she puts a microphone on, goes into a public setting, no one's privacy is being violated, and she talks to government officials, and in this case, Samuel Alito, last week or so. This wasn't years ago. This wasn't audio that is being released months and months and months and months after some scandal or something in the news in order to tie things together. This is last week. This is after the flag fiasco, after the Alitos, Samuel and Mama Alito, definitively showed themselves to be right-wing hacks in the tank for white Christian nationalism, flying the symbol of the insurrection in front of their home in Arlington, Virginia, flying the symbol of the insurrection at their vacation home. And I have two pieces of tape from her to show you. First, though, again, I always think about how to do this. There's two pieces of tape I want to play for you. One is her talking to Sam Alito, obviously. I'm not even going to do the Mama Alito stuff, the Martha Ann Alito stuff, which is even more nutty, but she doesn't have any power over your life other than the influence she can bring to bear on her husband. The first thing I want to show you is how to navigate waters that are important to right-wing nuts. John Roberts, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States, a right-wing ideologue, to be sure, absolutely, but he gives the right answer, and I believe ostensibly he presents himself to be someone who believes the right thing about whether or not we're a Christian nation, about what power he has as a Supreme Court justice to imbue morality into our country. First, we'll start with that. This is the appropriate way to answer the question, and then we'll move on to the wrong way with Samuel Alito.
I did want to ask you, specifically, with everything that's going on right now, it's a very tumultuous time in the country, and I'm just curious, from your perspective on the court, how do we start to repair the polarization?
I mean, the first thing I think is to tell me when the non-tumultuous time has been here. I mean, you look at the court, what the court was doing in the 60s, what the court was doing during the New Deal, what the court was doing, after Dred Scott and all this. It's kind of a regular thing. People think it's so different and special. It's been pretty tumultuous for a long time.
So you think this is a normal period?
I don't know if it's normal. I mean, since I've been here 20 years, there have been quieter times. But the idea that the court is in the middle of a lot of tumultuous stuff going on, that's nothing new.
I guess I wouldn't say that it's not like it's an innovative thing. It's not new. I guess I really feel like we're at a point in our country where the polarization is so extreme that it might be irreparable.
Oh, I don't think that.
I think
polarization is extreme is like the Civil War. We did that during Vietnam. People were getting killed I was there in Vietnam. This is all right. I mean, it's not all right, but it's not like it's as dramatically different. It's a common thing. People with their own perspective think this is so extraordinary. I don't know.
But you don't think there's a role for the court in guiding us toward a more moral path?
No, I think the role for the court is deciding the cases. If I start, would you want me to be in charge of guiding us toward a more moral path? That's for the people we elect. That's not for lawyers.
Well, I guess I believe that the founders were godly, we're Christians, and I think that we live in a Christian nation, and that our Supreme Court should be guiding us in that path.
Yeah, I don't know that we live in a Christian nation. I know a lot of Jewish and Muslim friends who would say maybe not, and it's not our job to do that. It's our job to decide the cases as best we can.
Well,
it's a much more modest job than other people have.
I don't want to monopolize your time. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
Not at all.
Thank you so much.
That's how you do it. It's that easy. The opinion he has is correct, and it's that easy to have the opinion. This mirrors what I've been saying for years and years and years on this channel about the fake ass prophets and white Christian nationalists in general. That they want this to be a Christian nation. They want us to come back to godly principles. Who's God? Whose version of Christianity of the thousands that exist? And John Roberts said it right. Would you want me to be in charge of putting the nation on a more moral path? Me? Why me? It's important because of the fact that there are a multiplicity of religions. There are a multiplicity of doctrines and belief systems within particular religions like Christianity. Do you want Julie Green's version of Christianity to be the one that rules everybody? Do you want the insurrectionist version? Do you want some Nazi version? No, you don't. And by virtue of that, you don't want anybody's. You want us to be a secular nation. You don't want us to be ruled by any wacky faith, any traditional faith. No faith. And that's why it is enshrined in our Constitution that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion in the United States. The word God, the word Jesus does not appear in the Constitution, the bedrock, the fundamental principles, the North Star of our rule of law. But if you ask Samuel Alito that, he might give you a different answer. He would be wrong, of course, but this is her conversation with him, and it is a doozy. I agree with you that it is our responsibility to bring about godliness. Bombshell is what this is. Listen to this.
And I know it's got to be terrible what you and your family are going through right now. So I'm just so sorry.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
But, and I'm sure you don't remember this at all, but what I had asked you about was about the polarization in this country, about like how do we repair that rift? And considering everything that's been going on in the past year, you know, as a Catholic and as someone who like really cherishes my faith, I don't know that we can negotiate with the left in the way that like needs to happen for the polarization to end. I think that it's a matter of like winning.
I think you're probably right. I think one side or the other is going to win. I don't know. I mean, there can be a way of working, a way of living together peacefully, but it's difficult, you know, because there are differences on fundamental things that really can't be compromised. They really can't be compromised. So it's not like we're going to split the difference.
And that's what I'm saying. I think that the solution really is like winning the moral argument. Like people in this country who believe in God have got to keep fighting for that to return our country to a place of godliness.
Oh, I agree with you.
So Lauren Windsor says to him, people in this country who believe in God have got to keep fighting for that to return our country to a place of godliness. I agree with you, says not Chief Justice, thankfully, Associate Justice on the Supreme Court, Samuel Alito. I agree with you. I don't know that we can negotiate with the left in a way that needs to happen for the polarization to end. I think that it's a matter of like winning. We need to win. She goads him into agreeing. And he says, I think you're probably right. On one side or the other is going to win. I don't know. I mean, there can be a way of working, a way of living together peacefully, but it's difficult to live together peacefully, he says. You know, because there are differences on fundamental things that really can't be compromised. So it's not like you are going to split the difference. He's right. On one side of America, we have people who want to stand in the gap for marginalized group, oppressed group. the LGBTQ community, transgender Americans who are under the boot of oppression on their necks every day of their lives, Black Americans whose vote is systematically and perniciously attempted to be suppressed and eliminated at every turn by conservatives, Samuel Alito included. We have women whose bodily autonomy and ability to have agency in their healthcare choices has been stripped away by Samuel Alito. So how do we compromise? Is he right about this? How do we compromise? And then on the other side, we've got people who want to stand in the gap for them. People like you and me who care about people in groups that are not their own. He's not willing to compromise because he believes he is right. And it is his job to bring godliness to this country. And he's one of 9 Supreme Court justices. Thankfully, he's aging out. He'll be dead soon. He'll be off the court soon. And you have a role to play in this. Because if he's holding out to see if Biden gets elected or Trump gets elected, he's going to have to retire soon. And we need a Joe Biden in office to put someone in Samuel Alito's seat that will be rational and decent and upstanding and standing in the gap for marginalized people, to bring to fruition, to bring to reality the concepts, the aspirational concepts outlined in the Constitution. Equal protection under the law, the 14th Amendment, come to life instead of squashed and squelched by a man and his wife who fly insurrectionist symbols at their home days after a violent attempt to overthrow the United States government by way of overturning a free and fair election. What do you think? Let's talk about this. We can talk about it in the comments. You can call, leave me a voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me daily at dollemore.com. I would love to hear from you. If you want to help support this work, if I'm not too fiery for you, click the join button below. Become a channel member for $2 a month. You can go to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. Those are fantastic ways to help support this work. It's going to get worse before it gets better, I'm afraid to say. That is my belief. We will see if I'm wrong or right. I'll see you next time. Be genuine. Take care of one another.